All right, let's see here. Can you guys hear me? All right, let's see here. Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Y'all can hear me. Nice. I'm trying to put this on my phone as well so that I can make sure that I can see any comments that come through. I'm trying to put this on my phone as well so that I can make sure. All right, yeah, that's a good question, Courtney. Why doesn't everyone put in the comment section where they're from, where they're tuning in from? All right, yeah, that's a good question, Courtney. Why doesn't everyone in the comments where they're from? Where they're from? Oh, Rhonda, you're in my neck of the woods. Not too far. Okay, what about now? Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me better. Great, Rhonda. Okay, good. Okay, good. Courtney says it's better. All right, excellent. I'm trying to test out, which platform is going to be the best for us to use. I'm going to see if during our next call we can use Webinar Jam. I was experiencing some problems with it earlier, so that's why I decided to just host the training here inside of the Facebook group. But I don't know if this is going to be, the method that we use each week. But, we're going to try a couple of different things. So I just ask that you bear with me and, give me some feedback. Let me know, which method is preferred by you. Okay, great. Andrew said no echo. Okay, Robin says I hear you loud and clear. Okay, great. This is exactly what I was looking for. Now I'm going to, I have, a few slides that I put together. So we're going to kind of go through them and, just kind of get this thing started. So first of all, I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for supporting what I'm doing, this initiative, and also for trusting in me, trusting me with your dollars, trusting me with your goals, and helping you to achieve them. So I definitely appreciate that very much. And sorry that my voice is raspy. I literally, just got over a cold about a week or so ago. And then I went to Nashville and it was just mayhem and craziness. Lots of screaming and shouting and talking all day, and my voice is just labored. I guess it's given out. So again, like I said, I do apologize for that, but I hope that you can hear me now and we can get through this content and you actually get some value from it. Okay. I'm gonna ask that, if you have any questions, let's try to reserve them until after the information. We're gonna have a live Q&A on Friday. And the format, that I really would like us to kind of stick to is submitting your questions in the group so that everyone can see them. And then on Friday, I can put together the video. We can do the call, and then that way it's everyone's question can be answered. Plus it allows us dedicated time specifically for questions. Okay, so if that sounds good to you, if that's something that you guys can abide by, just give me a 1 in the comments. All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right. We see those ones coming through. All right. So, we're going to go through the introduction first. Then we're going to go over mindset just a little bit. And then we're going to get into niche selection. Okay. So we're going to talk about briefly what we're going to go over for the next 4 weeks. So if you're inside of the student only group, you're going to see that there is a schedule there. Okay. Has everyone seen the schedule? The schedule is tentative. As it stands now, that's kind of the format that we're going to follow. If there is a change or an adjustment that needs to be made, certainly I will let you all know, far in advance. But as it stands now, that's the schedule that we're going to go with, and, just see how it all works out. Okay. If you have any concerns, like if there's, something that comes up and you're not going to be able to make the training live, that's totally okay, because we're going to have a replay available. So that information is going to be inside, of this group. Okay. So we're going to try to keep and house all of the content here in one centralized location. And that way it just makes it easier, for everyone, instead of, there being stuff all over the place. And so there's some worksheets and some files and things that I'm going to be uploading over the next, couple of days, sort of transitioning it out of an existing membership site that I have and putting it here inside of the Facebook group. Like I said, so that it's, in one centralized location so that everybody will be able to see it. How to get the most out of this program? There's going to be a requirement, for both of us. Okay. We're both going to have some expectations. For you to get the most out of it, it's going to be important and imperative that you allocate time for it. Okay. You're going to have to allocate time for it. And so that may mean, that there's some sacrifices that you might have to make. Maybe it's a little less Ratchet TV, if that's your thing. That's my thing. I love Ratchet TV. That might mean kind of some late nights. That may mean some early mornings. That just will require a sacrifice, on your part, okay, to really put all of your focus and energy into this for the next 4 weeks, okay? And I believe, my motto has always been, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. Okay. So sometimes, outside of just the monetary part, there's other things that we're risking, some sleep, perhaps, maybe we got to turn that alarm clock on a little earlier, so that we can get up and commit ourselves to working inside of our business. That might mean, not going to bed as early. That might mean, sacrificing a little bit of time, hanging out with our friends, over the next few weeks, just so that we can put the focus and dedication here where it ought to be. Okay. Because the information that you guys are going to be learning and what we're going to be going over has the ability to transform your lives. Okay. It has the ability to transform your lives. It's transformed mine. Okay, so I'm living testament. I have students who have very similar results. Okay, it's life-changing when you learn the skill set that allows you to create your own economy, an economy that is recession proof. Okay, in 2008, our country experienced a massive recession. People were caught off guard. Jobs were lost. Homes were lost. Okay, and if you were ill prepared, it showed. But what I want you guys to know is that you don't have to be ill prepared if another recession happens. Okay, if the government decides to shut down again for an infinite amount of time, you don't have to be ill prepared, because now you have a skill set. Okay, you have a skill set that allows you to monetize and make money. Okay, and a lot of times I hear from students, that they just need to make an extra $500 a month or $1,000 a month. I mean, this doesn't have to be, millions of dollars. Your circumstances, okay? And your circumstances may dictate that, hey, I have a job that I actually enjoy, and with this job, it takes care of my needs. But some of my wants are not met. Okay, so if your wants are not met, if you're, looking to perhaps, take that vacation or pay down that debt, or save to buy a home, this is a nice opportunity for you to create a side income, so that you're able to accomplish those things. So again, if you're going to get the most out of the program, it's going to be required that you show up and that you do the work, okay, and that you make the sacrifices as necessary. Some people have asked about, how many hours it requires each week, okay? And I'm going to say that it really depends upon you, okay? It varies person to person. Some people are able to go through the information, follow what is being taught and implement it very easily, almost effortlessly. For some people, it might take a little bit more, okay? So you may be one that, you have to watch the training, multiple times to get it, for it to sink down, okay? The goal, though, is for you to be able to do this at record speed, okay? This is not something that, I'm desiring to take 40 hours a week, for you to accomplish, okay? This is something that you can really do in your spare time, on a part-time basis. So I would venture to say, that it's going to vary person to person. But, anywhere from 1 to 2 hours a day, let's see if that's something that you're able to dedicate to it so that you can get the most out of it. Okay, so a few moments ago, I talked about, each of us has a responsibility, okay? My responsibility is that I want to be able to teach this information to you guys in a very concise, easy to understand format, okay? Concise and easy to understand format. That's going to require that, I really break down some of the ideas and thoughts that, might be a little difficult or arduous to understand, okay? My commitment is also that I show up and I keep my word and I honor my word to you all. So like I said, we have a tentative schedule, that I put up. So unless there's, some emergency or some extreme situation, it's my hope and my desire that I'm able to keep to that schedule. Because one, I understand that your time is valuable, okay? So I don't want to waste your time. But I also understand that you guys are excited. Like, you guys are ready. Y'all are pumped. Y'all are ready to get this information, and you're ready to do the work so that you can begin to transform your life, okay? So understanding that, I don't want to drag it out, any more than it needs to be, okay? I want to show up, according to the schedule, and give you all of the information that you need so that you can go out here and transform your life, Okay, that might mean, like I said, creating it as a side hustle. You might be desirous of leaving your job altogether. Okay, whatever your flavor is, I want to make certain that I show up and I give you everything that you need so that you can be well equipped to do that. Okay, so that's my responsibility. Now, you have a responsibility as well. So we talked about it briefly a few moments ago, but your responsibility is you're going to have to show up and do the work. Okay, this is not a difficult thing to learn. Okay, it's not difficult to implement, but it does require work. Okay, it does require work. It requires effort. Okay, this is not a get rich quick scheme. Okay, this isn't something that you're gonna work at one time and then the floodgates are gonna open. Okay, this is gonna require consistency. It's gonna require effort. So it's interesting because sometimes I get questions from people and they say, oh well, what's the guarantee that this is gonna work for me? Okay, I make no guarantees that any of this is gonna work for you, because the truth of the matter is, whether it works for you or not really depends on how much effort you put in. Okay, it really depends on how much effort you put in. So if you're showing up, if you're doing the work, if you're implementing the things that you're learning, you're going to have results. Okay, you're going to have results, and that is what matters. But if you, at the first hint of trouble or difficulty, or something that you're just really not clear about, when these situations happen, you're quick to run for the hills, then again, the evidence is going to be there. Okay, so if you want to have success, if you want to make the most of this, if you want to put yourself in a position where you can begin learning a skill, and let me just say this, guys, this is just not a skill set that you can learn to sell t-shirts. Okay, I started out learning this, okay, how to sell t-shirts, how to sell other physical products. But let me tell you how my business was transformed dramatically by taking those same skills and creating other shoot-offs from this business. Okay, so yes, I started back in the days of Teespring selling t-shirts, but subsequent to that, I've learned how to build a drop shipping business. I've learned how to create a business where I've private labeled cosmetics. Okay, I learned how to create an agency because I understand fundamentally what it takes to start a business. See, you're going to be learning principles and strategies that are eternal. Okay, so this isn't going to be, some trendy topic. You're going to be learning skills that you're able to utilize, no matter if you stick with selling t-shirts and print on demand items or you choose to do something else. Okay, because you're gonna learn how to market. You're going to learn how to craft your message. You're going to learn how to, build an email list. You're going to learn how to do paid advertising. Okay, all of those things fundamentally are required for whatever business you decide to go into. Okay, so let's be very clear. It behooves you to be alert and to listen to this information that you're receiving, because whether you stick with t-shirts or not, you're going to learn principles that you can apply to any business that you choose to go into. Okay, whether now or in the near future. All right, so now we're going to transition briefly over to mindset. Okay, now listen, I know you guys are like so anxious and so excited to just get into the content and get into the meat of it all, but we have to start here. Okay, we have to start here. So many people get into business and they have not worked on their mindset. Okay, they have not given attention to fixing what's between their ears. Now, this is important because if you're like me, you spent years, okay, being indoctrinated and taught the wrong way to gaining financial stability and wealth. Okay, And here's what I mean by that. Here's what I mean by that. See, they will tell you that the way that you sure your future and make certain that you have the life that you're, desirous of is, you have to go to school, you have to get good grades, after you make it through high school, then you go to college, and then after college, you get into this, amazing, lucrative job, and you stay there for 30 years or 40 years, and then you retire. And, when you retire, then you can really begin to live life on your terms, okay? I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to wait until I'm 60 years old and 70 years old to start, quote unquote, living life on my terms, okay? I want to start living life on my terms now while I still have youth on my side, while I can still enjoy it, because the reality is tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. There's no guarantee that you or I will be here to see 60 years old, to retire from a job, okay? There's no guarantee. So the thing is, we have to learn that, what we have been conditioned and taught back in the day, that may not be relative to right now, okay? That might not be relative to right now. What we were taught and fashioned to believe, the things that our grandparents and, maybe parents and great-grandparents, believed, all of that, I want you to erase from your mind, okay? Because as you know, jobs are very different, okay? The trajectory of jobs in the future, it looks very grim and hopeless, to me. See, when I was coming up and when my mom was coming up and when my grandmother was coming up, perhaps, you could go to high school, graduate, and get into the government. You almost had a sure ticket there, okay? Or you could go work in a factory job, okay? You almost had, a sure foot in a factory job or a government job. But those jobs, are minimal at this point. A lot of them are gone. They no longer exist. And have you attempted to get into a government position recently? I mean, they make you jump through hoops and ladders, give your firstborn blood, limbs, and everything else in order to get into these positions, okay? So what I'm telling you is that a lot of the thinking that may exist with each of us because of things that we've been taught in our past, we can no longer rest on that, okay? We can no longer rest on that. So, like I said, you have to first understand that what you're doing and what you're striving for is life-changing, okay? It's life-changing, and you have to be resolute. You have to be resolved in that. You have to believe that it is possible. If your belief system is jacked up and you're not really certain, if you're still feeling like, oh, this is too good to be true, or, you're still having doubts about it, it's going to show up in your effort, okay? It's going to show up in your output. So the first thing is you have to be resolved that what you're doing and the life that you desire, it is possible, okay? It's possible. And let me tell you guys something. I don't want you guys to just be learners, okay? Meaning taking in all of this information and allowing it to build up and run rampant in your mind. I want you to take this information and go out and implement it, okay? Because when you implement the things that you've learned, then it starts to build the confidence that you need to continue, okay? And that sort of silences the noise that's associated with doubt, okay? And when you are able to implement the things that you're learning, that's when the action starts to build momentum, okay? So like right now, it's almost like gamification for me because I have learned how to do this. I have learned how to build, brands. I have learned how to build funnels, that generate money for me, while I'm asleep. Okay. Let me also say this, guys. You need to be always in search of an opportunity that allows your money to go out and work for you. Okay? See, you're only making money if you work a 9-to-5 job. You're only making money 8 hours a day. Okay? But there's 16 other hours in the day where you're not making money. If you, let's say you only work 8 hours a day. But with this skill set that you're going to be learning, you can make money 24 hours a day. Okay? Let me tell you something. I was in Nashville all last week and I was swamped. Okay? I mean, the training was literally like 12 hours a day, it seemed. And there were events and there were meet and greets and there was, I mean, so much stuff happening. So literally, you know, for all intents and purposes, I was not working. I was not working. But you know what was working? My money. My money was working for me because while I was at this event, I was still running my paid advertising. And for every dollar that I was putting in, I was getting $3 back. So every day, without me logging onto my computer, okay, or leaving the event to go out and make money, I'm making money around the clock. Okay, making money around the clock. And this money that I'm making did not involve my direct input. Like I said, and if you guys follow me on Instagram, you know, you saw, you know, I was going live and, you know, having a great time, just doing all kinds of stuff, right? Doing all kinds of stuff. But my money was still making money for me, okay? So when we talk about, you know, the action that builds momentum, this is the formula for it, okay? Because believe me, when you start to understand how you can make money work for you and you start to get those results, right? The first sale is always like the best. I mean, and I every single time I launch a brand new store or I launch a funnel or whatever it is, and I get that first sale, I've made thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, okay? But that first sale, no matter what, and it could only be for 8, 10, 12, 20, 30, 40 bucks, it always feels like it's the most exciting, you know? It's the most exciting. So again, take the action because the action is going to build momentum. When you start to see those results, you're going to want to continue to do it. It's almost like a drug. You know, it's like you're always seeking, you know, that initial feeling that you had the first time. You're always chasing that. Okay, now I don't do drugs, just as a disclaimer. That's what they say. I don't know. Okay, so action builds momentum. That's also part of working on your mindset. Okay? Now, we talked about it briefly, but I'm going to go back through it, you know, about the sacrifices, you know, that you make. And I did a live stream today where I was sharing how, you know, I don't really watch much TV. Okay, I own a TV, you know, I own Hulu and Netflix accounts and all that stuff. But because I am so committed and focused on honing my craft, I don't really have time to watch television. You know, I sacrifice sometimes, you know, time that I would be spending with friends and family. And not that those things aren't important, because they are. Okay, so there's always a time and place for everything. But what I do understand is that the greatest value that I can give these people, you know, besides my time, is a future, okay? Because what I'm doing here is trying to build a legacy. I always say that, you know, especially in our community, the Black community, when we die, sometimes we're ill prepared, okay? And I see it all the time as I'm on Facebook or Instagram. You know, someone dies and they put up GoFundMe accounts, right, to raise money to bury someone. Now, I'm not here to judge that. That's not why I'm saying it. What I'm saying is we leave our children with debt. We leave them stressed and anxious over the basic things, okay? We have to stop doing that. The onus is on you and I to change the forecast. So for me, I have a 9-year-old daughter, okay? And I've set my life up in such a way that if something happens to me today or tomorrow, she's going to be okay. And you know what else? She's going to inherit an asset. See, she's not going to inherit debt that she can't pay. She's not going to inherit a bill to bury me that she won't be able to resolve. She's going to inherit a business, an asset that has market value. So she can choose, if she desires, to run the business, or if she chooses to sell it. That's her prerogative. But it has market value, okay? So this is how you start to build generational wealth. Understand this, the investment that you're making today is far beyond you. It has the propensity to affect your children, your grandchildren, the great-grandchildren that you may or may not have, okay? So don't diminish or disregard or downplay or whatever, what you're learning, okay? We have to get out of this mindset that, we're not planning for tomorrow. This is what having a business allows you to do. So when your homegirl calls you and she want to go turn up and you're in the middle of, building your store and trying to hone your craft, or you're doing market research, don't feel bad if you have to say, nah, girl, I'm gonna have to catch you the next time. Okay? Don't feel bad about that, because you're making a deposit into your future and into the lives of people that may not even be here yet. Okay? You're making a deposit. Now, like I said, not to say that you can't ever, hang out with your family and your friends and all of that. Not saying that at all. Because my family is the most important thing to me. Okay? They mean the world to me. But I also know that in order for me to affect a change in my family and in my generation, it's going to require me making some sacrifices. Okay? So that's imperative. Be willing to make those sacrifices. Okay? Be willing to make those sacrifices, because the reward that you're going to receive is so much more. Okay? And I mentioned here about living on purpose. Okay? And what I mean by that is, I'm going to use, this example of my grandmother. And, my grandmother has always been a hard worker. She's worked multiple jobs for, many years of her life. And today she's 72 years old. She turned 72 in December. And she retired a few years ago, but still had to, supplement her income with other little, odd end jobs. Okay. So she recently got sick. If you guys were on, a webinar that I had, I talked about that. She was sick. She had a stroke. And she was in the hospital for 3 weeks. And actually, she's gone back into the hospital because she suffered a second stroke. And I'm telling you this story because it speaks to the mindset. Okay. So she's literally in the hospital after having suffered a stroke. And the first thing she says to my aunt, who is her daughter, is, you got to call so-and-so and let them know that I'm not going to be there. Okay, I'm not going to be there because I'm in the hospital. And instead of her worried and focused on, getting better and all of that, every day she's worried about, is this job being done, and if she's going to be able to do it again when she comes out of the hospital, because she needs the money. Okay. So I'm her granddaughter, and I have, access to things that she doesn't have access to. So I explained to her that, you're not going back to that job. The money that you were making doing, whatever you were doing, I'm going to make certain that you're going to get that money every single month. I'm making that part of my responsibility. Because the truth is this: life has so many struggles all on its own. Okay. And then, unforeseen occurrences happen. So for her, she got sick, didn't plan on it. but she's worried and anxious and stressed about how certain needs are going to be met. Okay? So when I tell people to live on purpose, I'm saying live in the present and take advantage of youthfulness. Take advantage of time that you have right now, because none of those things are a guarantee. None of that is promised for another day. Okay? So live your life daily with intent and with purpose. It's imperative. It's imperative that you're living every single day with intent and with purpose. Okay? So this allows you to do that. Okay? This allows you to do that because you can call your own shots. You can call your own shots. I literally sat at the hospital with her every single day for 3 weeks. Didn't have to call a boss and ask them, can I take the time off? Didn't have to worry about if I was going to lose my job because I wasn't showing up and I wasn't present. Okay? I'm living my life on purpose. Anything that I will for my life, I can create. Okay? I want you guys to all be in that position. All right. Enough about mindset, because I'm extremely passionate about it and I can talk about it, for hours on end. And I'm going to be, as we get through the material, I'm going to be going back to it because it's something that we need to constantly stay present and in front of. Okay. And I'm telling you this because you get into, and listen, and it happens to me. I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. And there are many a times where, my mindset needs to be checked. I get stressed about a situation, or maybe my ads aren't performing the way I want them to, or maybe Facebook, is tripping, their algorithm is off, or I'm having issues with my supplier, all kinds of things, right? A customer is emailing and a customer is upset because they received the wrong shirt or the wrong item, or, whatever. All of those things every single day are a test to your mental health when it comes to this business. Okay. So I'm going to be sharing, video, just hacks and tips and tricks, just things that you can do so that you can push past that. Okay. So that you can push past that. All right. Now we're going to get into the fun stuff. So the very first thing that I want you guys to do as it relates to the business that you're building is I want you to identify the niche that you want to go into, okay? That's going to be so imperative. Now, I was talking to, and I don't want to put him on the spot, so hopefully he doesn't mind me sharing this, but there was one person inside of the group that I was chatting with that said he's a single father, and he wants to build a brand around that, perhaps speaking to other single fathers or dads in general, and I'm going to tell you that I was jumping up and down, jumping for joy when I heard him say that, because when it comes to choosing a niche, I always say you will have the most success when you choose a niche that you're either part of, so you are a product of the product, or you're passionate about it, okay? So if he's a single father or a dad, I can't remember exactly which position he was in, but if he's a dad and he has kids that he's raising, and he wants to build a brand around being a dad, don't you think that he's going to know how to communicate with people inside of that audience? See, one of my first brands that I built was a baseball store. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I made lots of money inside of this store selling baseball products. But here's the thing. I don't know a single thing about baseball. I don't care about baseball. Okay. And so it became almost difficult, virtually impossible to communicate with this audience because I'm not in it. I'm not in it. I can't speak that language, and so I would try to manufacture and reach out to, bloggers that could write copy for me. But the reality is it showed in my communication. Okay, it showed. So there were conversations that, customers were having and I couldn't take part. I couldn't add any value to it because I didn't know anything about baseball. So my advice to you is that when you're choosing your niche, try to choose a niche that either you're passionate about or a niche that you actually are involved in. So let me give you some ideas. Some of the niches that I know have just an amazing return are niches related to occupations. Okay, so what I mean by that is if you're a nurse or law enforcement, a police officer, a firefighter, whatever, right? Niches in those spaces, those arenas do very, very well. One part of it is because these are unsung heroes. Okay, these are people that do the dirty work and they do it, unselfishly. Okay, and they don't get enough credit for it. Okay, but these are people that their jobs are very, very critical. I also notice in a lot of these communities, the ones that I just mentioned, that it's very familial. Okay, so if you are a police officer, it's almost like a fraternity, if you will. The people that you work with actually do become your family. Okay, they become, some of the closest people to you. So there's a lot of passion around this. If you've spent, $60,000, $70,000 on your education, your college education, wouldn't you say that would be a person that would be passionate about the job that they have? I have a young cousin who is trying to be a veterinarian, a doctor for pets. And, the schools that she's been looking at, they want $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year. So she's going to come out of school, having invested about $120,000 just to have this career. Wouldn't you say that a person that has invested $120,000 is someone that's passionate about what they do? I'd say so. So if that's the case, that could be a great market to go after. Okay, so anything relating to occupation and career. One of my most famous campaigns, I would say, was for a couple of them were for school bus drivers. Okay, I was selling T-shirts to school bus drivers, to math teachers, and also, and get this one, speech language pathologists. You might be thinking, what in the world is a speech language pathologist? But that's someone who works with generally children in school who have, cognitive delays, and it affects their ability to speak. Okay. So these are people, again, they've invested money in their education in order to be able to have this as a career. So yes, speech language pathologist. So I would tell you, if you don't know where to start, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Can you start there? I would also say, if you have a certain, hobby, right? So if you're into sewing, if you're into knitting, if you're into photography even, there's a lady that I've been corresponding with, and she's a photographer. Okay. I sold T-shirts in the photography niche, killed it, super passionate. Okay. You want to tap into audiences, that are passionate, or they're already spending money. So when we look at photography, for instance, photographers, they spend money, in their niche, right? They buy expensive cameras, and you know what else? They want to protect their cameras, so they buy expensive gear. okay? They also want you to know that they are a photographer, right? Because that's a way that they're able to, you know, get clients and things like that. So more often than not, selling, you know, t-shirts or mugs, or a buddy of mine, he sold a pair of tennis shoes. It was one of the best sellers that he had. It was a pair of tennis shoes, canvas tennis shoes that had little images of cameras on them, okay? And he sold $1 million worth of tennis shoes to photographers. Okay, so I want you to think, I want you to actually sit down and make a list. Just start writing out some of your interests, some of the niches that you can actually get into and begin to monetize. Okay, here's another one I'm gonna give you. And I've been in it as well. What's the niche? Oh, sorry. Causes and awareness. Okay? Causes and awareness. Now, you're going to find that, and you probably already know, a lot of people are very, you know, they're very much in tune with and desirous of giving back to certain causes. So I'm talking about like breast cancer awareness, or, you know, autism awareness. I mean, I've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars inside of these niches, inside of these audiences. I will say that if you're going to sell into those audiences, one way to, you know, to really get people to lobby behind you and rally around you is to attach your brand to a cause, to like an actual donation. So what I would always do is, you know, if you purchase from my store and you bought a, you know, a breast cancer mug or a breast cancer t-shirt, whatever, you know, I would donate, you know, a certain percentage to an organization. Okay. So then, you know, people feel good about supporting that, and they don't feel like you're just trying to, you know, pad your pockets and get rich off of someone's illness. But the reality is, you know, that affects us, right? So I have an aunt who died from breast cancer. So do you feel like, you know, do you think I have an interest in that? Absolutely, I do. I have other relatives that more recently, a family member, she had congestive heart failure, okay? Do you know how many other people are dealing with congestive heart failure? You can market to them, okay? You can market to them, and they can, and let me tell you something, it's so, it feels good when you actually get messages from people that they're excited about seeing their particular cause being, and I don't want to use the word celebrated because that's not the word, but everyone doesn't suffer from breast cancer, right? I always get messages from people saying, you know, all cancer isn't pink, right? Because they feel like breast cancer gets all of the awareness, you know, they get all of the resources. But there's so many other people dealing with other forms of cancers, you know, that don't get represented. They're underrepresented. And so I've been able to tap into those, you know, I've been able to tap into them. So now one of them in particular is suicide awareness. Massive audience, okay? Massive audience. And everything that I have launched and produced for people who have suffered from a loved one committing suicide, they send me some of the most heartfelt messages. You know, thank you so much. This means so much that someone is standing up and giving a voice, you know, to some of the pain and feelings that we have, okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is, don't underestimate. Yes, you're going to be selling t-shirts and other print-on-demand items, but don't underestimate just what impact, you know, this brand can have on someone, okay? So I've given you a range of things to consider, and absolutely, if you you know, need some help with brainstorming or just trying to come up with a niche or whatever, please let me know. Please let me know, because to me, that's the easiest thing to do, okay? Because you can almost make any niche work, okay? You can make almost any niche work. It's just a matter of, making a decision. So we've gone over, how to choose the niche. We've talked about what makes a good niche. People that are already inside of it spending money, there's passion there. Those are the things that you kind of want to tap into. You don't want to be on an island. You don't want to be so unique that no one else is really, inside of that niche, right? So I always say, people run from competition, but I want to step into the competition, because that tells me that somebody is already spending money inside of that audience. So if someone is already spending money inside of an audience, that means that if I can put my product in front of them, the chances of them spending money with me are great, okay? Versus if they're not spending money inside of an audience. You don't want to be the only person spending money trying to reach a certain audience or demographic, okay? You don't want to be the only person. So I always say, hey, let's look at some of those seemingly congested niches, and let's see how we can get into it. Now, something else that you can do, which is something that I like to do, is kind of merge a couple of niches together, right? So sometimes a niche can be extremely, extremely broad. For instance, if I were to say I'm going into the dog niche, okay? The dog niche is a passionate audience, absolutely. But if you're just saying my niche is dogs, that can be really, really broad, okay? That can be extremely broad, because there's so many different types and breeds of dogs, right? So the way that you take a very broad niche like dogs and you make it palatable is you dissect it by breed. So maybe you say, instead of saying I'm in the dog niche, you say I target Chihuahua owners. Okay, so maybe that's what it is, or pit bulls, or boxers, or Dobermans, or whatever else is another. So just break it down, just take it down a little more, another step or two, just so that you aren't expending too much energy trying to talk to everyone, okay? And I always use the term, the riches are in the niches. Do not be afraid to niche down, okay? So even with the dog example, the dog can be, your broad niche, right? So then you have a subset, a sub-target, which is the Chihuahuas, right? But then you could even take it down a bit more. You could take it down one more step, and you could say Chihuahuas. So I want to target, people that own a Chihuahua and they like Jeep trucks. Okay. So now you're taking two different audiences and you're merging them. So someone who loves their Chihuahua dog and they love driving a Jeep. They love being a Jeep owner. Okay. So anytime that you're able to layer it and get deeper and dig deeper into a niche, the better. Okay, the better. All right, so there are lots of websites that you can actually go on and perform niche research. Okay, there's several websites, and I'm gonna pop these websites here in the chat. Some of the ones, anyhow, and some of these you already know. Okay, some of these you already know. But some of the ones that I like, teespring.com, gearbubble.com, and I'm going to put these inside of the chat, and I'll probably create a document as well and put it in the notes section, okay? Pinterest, there's viralstyle.com. There's also There's Amazon. There's Instagram. Okay. There's also Google Trends. Okay. So there's a few that I listed here. Teespring, Gear Bubble, Pinterest, Virus Style, Amazon, Instagram, Google Trends. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post a document after our call today. I'm going to post a document in the file section so that you can go in and, start to look at some of these websites and you can perform your niche research. Okay. What you're going to be looking for is a combination of things. Okay. You're going to be looking for, now some of these sites that I listed, you can tell if a particular design or a niche is passionate. Okay. You can tell that based on engagement. Okay. And so maybe what we'll do is we'll even shoot an Instagram, maybe a video doing some research on Instagram, because that's a method that I really want you guys to utilize, because the information there is so plentiful and it's so good. Okay. It's so good. So maybe I'll do a training inside of here just showing you how to perform the research on Instagram. And I'll likely have to do it from my cell phone, where I can do a screen share, because it just works better on mobile than obviously using the desktop. Okay. But engagement is generally what's going to, that's going to give you an indicator. That's the indicator that, that particular niche is, passionate. They're spending money. And so you want to tap into them, right? You want to tap into them. Another thing that you can do, I like to go to Teespring. Teespring has a plethora of shirts and designs, okay? And they kind of have it sorted by bestsellers, okay? They kind of have it sorted by bestsellers. So that makes it nice, because you can also tell, like, if a particular shirt inside of a category is at the top, it's the most sought one. Okay. So what I want you to look for is, have in mind the niche that you want to get into, right? Have that in mind. And then go onto these websites and type that niche in. Okay. Type that niche into the search box and see what type of results you get. Okay. And this is an exercise that I do all the time. Okay. I do this exercise all the time because there's so many ideas that, that it generates. Okay. So like if I mentioned to you guys that, I have you guys are going to get access to it for 2 weeks, right? You're going to get access to it for 2 weeks. But basically, it's a inner circle, okay? And it's where I am showing you how I build a brand from scratch, okay? So I'm working on building that now. But I'm doing the same exercise, okay? I'm going to do the same exact exercise. I'm going to go to these websites, and I'm going to find a passionate audience that I want to build this brand around so that I can use it as a case study for you guys. Okay, so everything that I'm teaching you and talking about when it comes to, choosing an audience, it's the same thing that I do each and every time. Okay, I do this each and every time. Now, I want to pull up a couple of examples for you. Now, I'm going to try to do this without breaking my laptop. It seems like there's a lag, it kind of responds slowly, but I'm going to see if I'm able to pull up a couple of websites so that we can go over them. So just give me 1 minute. All right. Let me know if you can see the website that's on the screen. Let me know if you're able to see the website. Just put a 1 in the comments. Okay, cool. Great. All right. So this is a lady. She's actually here in the Baltimore area. Her name is Khadija, and she has a brand that she's built that's called Mess in a Bottle. Okay, mess being short for message. Okay, so the whole premise of her brand is to create catchy messages that she puts on a t-shirt. Okay, and she puts the t-shirt inside of a reusable, recyclable bottle. Yes. Okay, great. All right, so you guys can see this. Okay? So that's her story. She creates messages, she puts them on a t-shirt, she stuffs them in a bottle, and she sends them to her customers. Okay? But who is her audience? Okay? Who are the people that she's targeting? Okay? So if you follow her, you know that she is for the culture. Okay? She is about advancing Black awareness. Okay? The Black culture. That's who she's talking to. That's her audience. Okay? But a little deeper, not just Black people in general. Okay? She's also marketing to people that are woke, as you say. Okay, woke and conscious. Okay, so conscious Blacks. Okay, so you're gonna find that that's probably gonna be more on the side of the younger generation. Okay, maybe the 20 somethings, the 30 somethings, early 40s, probably somewhere along that line. Okay, so this is what I want you to think about when you're building your brand. Okay? When you're building your brand, you should be thinking about who is that one person that I can talk to. Okay? And you build from there. You build from there. Okay? All right, there's another one. Okay, Girl CEO. Now, let me just say this about Girl CEO. And this is the importance of building a brand, okay? I can't overemphasize this or underemphasize this enough. And you've probably seen Girl CEO, circulating Instagram. She has this is her infamous design, model, gold digger, entrepreneur, okay? Who is she talking to? Who is her audience? Well, it's the female entrepreneur, right? The boss chick. That's who she's talking to. Okay? So again, now one of the cool things that Girl CEO does is she has a brand where she sells physical products, but there's also a teaching element that she does. Okay? There's a teaching element. So she has a membership site. So she's targeting people targeting women that are entrepreneurs. Okay? But she's also giving them the tools that they need to succeed in their entrepreneurial journey. Okay? So think about this. If you're starting a brand is there multiple ways that you can serve your audience outside of just the physical product? Okay? Outside of just the physical product. Think about that. Okay? Think about when you're building your brand, how you can monetize it outside of just selling t-shirts. Okay? Going back to the pet niche again. If you are a puppy lover, someone said they like what did they say? Pugs and Frenchies, okay? Could you start some sort of program where, you're rescuing Frenchies or you're rescuing pugs, or think about one of the things that I've been seeing more recently is like a spotlight on a dog, right? Like on a particular dog. And so you're teaching the owner, how to I don't know, is it considered potty training when it comes to animals? But you're training them, how to be in the home and not pee all over the place, or, how to respond to a certain call, or, how to respond to, a specific order or direction, that you're giving them. Think about how you can bring this, full circle is basically what I'm saying. Okay. See how you can monetize it in multiple ways other than just the physical product. Okay. All right. We got another one to show you. This is called, and we talked about this. I think I did a video before, but Hustle Island, same concept pretty much as Girl CEO. Okay, pretty much very similar concept. They are targeting the entrepreneur, and they tell you Hustle Island is the #1 destination for up and coming hustlers and entrepreneurs. Okay, that's the audience: up and coming hustlers and entrepreneurs. Okay, so if you're understanding this and you're liking the content so far, give me a 1 in the comments. Yes, I have. Yep, actually, I've gotten a few of their t-shirts as well. Okay, all right. Here's another one. And this is for the person that I was talking about earlier, who said that they're a dad and they want to start a brand for dads. Check it out. Dads are awesome. Dadsareawesome.com. Okay? They tell you they celebrate dads every day of the year. Check it out. All of this right here is print on demand. Okay? Print on demand. And see, when you navigate this site, check it out. Best selling. Oh, it's already in order of best selling. Duh. Okay. Oh. Okay, here it is. So this is the best selling one on this site. This shirt says, "There's this girl, she stole my heart. She calls me daddy." Okay? Very simple. Very simple. Very simple concept. But you know who this audience is. See, if I land on this site, it's not going to resonate with me, right? Because I'm not a dad. Now, unless I was buying gift for, you know, a man or whatever to give to his daughter. But generally speaking, I'm not going to be affected by this. It doesn't speak to me because I'm not in that niche. But if you're a dad, or if you are a wife that's looking for a Christmas gift or something for your husband, you know, and y'all have a daughter or whatever, this is perfect. Okay? So again, you can even monetize something as simple as being a parent. Okay? If you're a mom, if you're a dad, you're able to monetize that. So I want you to just get into the idea of doing some research. These are brands that I follow and found on Instagram. Literally, it took me 10 or 15 minutes. Okay? You can do that too. You can do that too. So one of the things that I will do is I'm going to shoot a video from my cell phone, and I can show you how I spend a little bit of time doing niche research. Okay? This is at the core, at the very basic level, this is what you need to do. Okay? You need to know what audience, and make no mistake about it. If you want, you can have multiple niches. Okay? You don't have to limit yourself to one. You can have as many as you want, because even though you're building a brand, there's two different, and we'll get into this next week, but there's two different types of stores that you can have. You can have a branded store, you know, where you're selling to one market, or you can have what we refer to as a general store. Okay? Now, let me give you an example of a general store. A general store simply means that they're marketing to multiple niches, okay? They're marketing to multiple niches. So remember, like I was telling you before, anything relating to like your job or your career, those are good niches to get into, right? So if you follow this site here, Printed Kicks, you're going to see, so let me just go to apparel. You're going to see that this person sells products in multiple niches. But look at them here. Look at some of the stuff that they sell. Army, that's massive. Awareness, beer and wine, okay? Christian, I didn't even begin to tap into that, right? Dogs, EMS, firefighters, okay? One of the most popular ones is Blue Line. Now check this out. If I type here, in Blue Line, look at all the products that they sell to police officers. $304, okay? Now, could you take this simple design and put that on a t-shirt and sell it? Absolutely, you can. Absolutely. Okay? They have, check this out. Remember how I was telling you about merging two niches? Okay? So if you look at this one, Thin Blue Line. Okay? So that's going to be for your police officers. But then it has the MAGA, Make America Great Again. So this is for a Trump supporter. Okay? Merging two audiences. Both are very passionate. Trump supporters are extremely passionate. Boo. Then you got police officers. They're extremely passionate. Okay? You merge the two, and now you're digging deeper. Okay? And you're speaking to that person. You're speaking to that specific person, and understand that with that level of passion, they're going to buy almost every time. Okay? Because you've tapped into it. So listen, check these sites out, study them, research them. Okay? You're not number of posts and number of hashtags, that doesn't matter when it comes to doing your Instagram research on a particular niche, okay? What matters is engagement. Sales data is the most important, but then the secondary thing is engagement, okay? So we're going to put that video together, but understand this is the type of stuff that, you know, that you want to be doing, okay? So Mess in a Bottle is a great example of a branded store that serves a singular audience, okay? So no matter what product she sells, she's talking to the same person for the most part, and that's expressed in all of her products, okay? Now we go over here to Thin Blue Line, and like I said, to printedkicks.com. This is a general store, okay? So they're going to be talking to lots and lots of different people, okay? So this is a good place to start if you're not really sure, like, you know, which one niche you want to go into. Or this is great when it's like, oh man, you know, I don't know, like if this one niche is going to work, maybe I should put up, you know, have a couple of niches and then just kind of see which one generates the most results, okay? That's a tactic or a strategy, you know, that you can use. But like I said, you have multiple options here, okay? Refer back to them. I'll put them in the notes so that you can have them, so that you can reference them. And I'm going to shoot a video. Like I said, I'm going to try to do it tonight, put up a video. If it's not tonight, you know, it'll be tomorrow. It'll be in the group here. And I'll show you how to do that Instagram research, okay? Just from your phone. You can literally do it just laying in the bed. If you're sitting in the bed, you know, one morning or one evening, you got 15, 20 minutes to spare, you know, perfect. Do it, okay? That's all I have for tonight. I didn't want to keep you guys really past an hour because after, you know, 45 minutes to an hour, it becomes almost impossible to retain what you've learned. But come back and view this video, okay? If you get lost, if you get stuck, if you have some ideas even of a particular niche that you're contemplating going into and you want me to help you with the market research so that you can get some examples of stores or brands that are already, you know, inside of that market, definitely let me know, okay? You can send me a message here. I'm on Facebook. You can send me a message on Instagram, either or. You know, I'm here to help you guys because success is my my goal, you know, for you guys, okay? I want all of you to succeed 100%, okay? So again, don't hesitate. If there's any specific questions that you have, I want you to post them here. Post them so that we can do our live Q&A on Friday and get all of your questions answered, okay? So the homework assignment that you're going to have for this week is to identify the niches that you want to market to. And I will tell you, it's not a bad idea to have more than one, okay? It's not a bad idea to have more than one. So that's going to be your homework for the week. Start writing it down. Start doing the research. Another good thing that you can do when it comes to research is just go straight to Google, type in the niche, and then put t-shirt, okay? So let me just show it to you as an example. If I'm going to Google, and let's say that I'm going, you know, let's say nurses. So nurse, t-shirt. Boom. You see all the different options, you know, that are available, okay? Very simple. So your homework for the week, write that down. Write your niches down that you want to get into. If you have any questions or you need help or you want, you know, me to do a video of how I research a certain niche to see if it's, you know, worth my time getting into, let me know. Like I said, I'm going to definitely do the Instagram one. So, you know, we'll certainly have that video for you later on tonight or tomorrow. But definitely let me know if you have any questions, okay? Because I'm here to help you guys. I want to create, you know, by the end of the year, at least 20 people, you know, 20 people that can generate a full-time income. I don't know why my screen is doing this. A full-time income. Whether you choose to quit your job or not, I want you to be able to generate a full-time income. Okay? So that's it for tonight. I'll see you in the group. Thanks for joining.
It sounds like your voice got better.